Yo, what is going on, people? I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Brandon, and today we're gonna go over how I almost lost my online store, like my online business that, basically makes it so I can, have a living. We're gonna go over how I almost lost it, and it recently happened, maybe like a month ago. Let's just get into it. Here we go. Alright, so here we go. So this is how I lost my business. So if you don't know, I own a store called shopsplat.com, hence Shopsplat, the YouTube channel where we just sell like fidget toys, right? Like these like little splat. Let me just show you. These things. They're like little splat sticky balls and you can throw them at stuff, and it's just a good time. They're pretty cool. And if you want to help support the channel, go hit the link below and get one. Look, they do cool things like this. So anyway, being that I own this business, it's basically like a retail store, right? So I buy the splat balls, like all the different kinds I have, from a wholesale supplier that I was able to partner with, and so I get them for like a wholesale price and I sell them for a retail price, and then keep the difference, right? Well, this is when things started going downhill. See, I had just turned 18 back in November of 2020. 2020. Yes. November of 2020, because we're in 2020. What am I talking? Anyway, I just turned 18, which means I just got my first credit card. Woo! And so I now was like going crazy with it. I have my credit card, obviously being smart, but now this means like I can buy stuff and, have build up the credit. So I was all hype about that. Well, apparently I linked my credit card one too many times to some of these different kinds of like platforms. I guess I don't really know. I have a lot of subscriptions for different services, online services that I use. Well, apparently, long story short, I linked up my credit card too much, probably on some sketchy site, and my credit card number got stolen. Not only that, but I have 2 debit cards, and both my debit card numbers got stolen as well. I had 3 cards get stolen at the same time within the same week. Here's the thing, not too bad, right? You have to get credit and debit cards that get stolen all the time. You just gotta go and cancel them and get new ones, no big deal. Here's the thing. Recently, right before they were stolen, I had this shop, and we went out of stock of a lot of items. So just like any other business owner, I went and bought stock from my supplier. And now I spend a lot of money on stock. I buy, hundreds of these at a time. That way we can keep up the stock with everything, and it's all good and peachy. Well, my credit cards got stolen. Which means, put 2 and 2 together, I spent somewhere between $800 to $1,000 on this wholesale supplier site. They shipped everything out, and because the cards got canceled, because I bought them, the credit cards got stolen, and then I canceled it, the payment never went through. But again, like, no big deal, right? Because the credit card company, they can work all that stuff out, right? Well, at least that's what I thought, right? So I've been working with the supplier for a long time, so I just called him up and I was like, hey, this is what's going on, can you help me out with that? No biggie. And they were like, sure, no problemo, dude. We got your back. I'm like, all right. Cool, I appreciate you. So I go and call my credit card company and my debit card company and my bank and whatnot. I'm like, yo, I need some new cards ASAP because I gotta pay my supplier because, I'm a good guy like that, And they're like, for sure, we got your back, no worries. Until I have this other business called ducksplat.com where we sell rubber ducks. Why is this important? Let me tell you. See, at the time, I was still in high school. I just recently got out of high school. Last day was like last week or whatever. And I was super busy with orders. And so some of the orders on my Ducksplat account, considering that I have to run that store and ShopSplat at the same time, were a bit delayed. And some of the people were not too happy about their ducks being delayed. Now, granted, it's only a few days, but when I say I'm going to get them out, within like 3 days, and it's been, 5, people start to question. No worries. The thing is, they then sent chargebacks on my site. Let me explain what those are. So basically, I screwed up because, I didn't get all the orders out in time just because I was busy with school and there's just a lot going on. Completely my fault, 100%. I take the full blame for it. The issue is they put chargebacks saying that they never received their items, and then I get charged extra on Shopify. So obviously I go and I send these orders out and it's no big deal and whatnot. I get them out there, I send all the orders out, it's all good and peachy, but these chargebacks still took money out of my bank. And it was a couple chargebacks. And considering that I originally lost the chargeback until they actually got it, I had to pay a fee every single time. So what ended up happening is I ended up not having the amount of money that I needed in my bank account to pay for the freaking splat balls that I had originally bought. Basically, if I'm gonna lay it out again really quick, we have the splat balls, we gotta restock. I paid like somewhere between $800 and $1,000, had the money in my bank, we were all good and peachy, ready to go, and then had to cancel my cards. Between the time of canceling my cards and waiting to get new ones so I can buy the splat balls and be good, I then lost a lot of money in my bank account from my other business and was not gonna get it until weeks later after I won the chargebacks, obviously. And now I didn't have enough money to actually pay for the splat balls. This is a big issue. Because before I actually figured out that I didn't have the money in my bank account, I got one of those debit cards to come in because I like paid for it to be here expeditedly. That way I can, actually pay the splat ball wholesale supplier and whatnot. And so I was like, here's my new card, we're all Gucci. And they called me back pretty upset saying, dude, this card doesn't work. So now it kind of looks like I'm trying to scam them, you know what I mean? And that's no bueno. So again, I just tried to talk to them. I've been working with them for a while, so I tried to just explain what was going on, but they were kind of like, dude, it seems kind of sketch how that happened. And I'm like, listen, I know. But you gotta trust me on this one, all right? And they were like, okay, but they were not really having it. So now basically, I'm caught in this, a lot of debt with this one wholesale company. I said that I would pay them back. Turns out I didn't have sufficient funds, so they're not happy. It kind of makes it look like I'm trying to just, get one by them and hopefully, not have to pay the full amount. Not really good. And in this time, I still only have one of my debit cards. I'm missing the other one for my other business, and I don't have my credit card because they all got stolen. Plus, I have all these chargebacks on my other store, which is not freaking cool. So basically, I had to wait these weeks until I got the money back from those chargebacks, until I got refunded that money, and it was gonna be back in my bank account before I could pay the splat balls off again, right? Because I had that one debit card, so I could have a way to pay, but I just didn't have the money because of the chargebacks. Well, the thing is, the people that I work with, the wholesale company, they were like, all right, the way we typically do business is we have to wait a few weeks, but we can wait like 1 or 2 weeks or so. And if we still don't get the payment, we're gonna have to get the police involved. And I'm like, okay, well, it's gonna take maybe like 2 weeks for Shopify to review it, and then another week for the money to show up in my bank. And they're like, it seems a little sus. And I'm like, God dang it. Because that would have been bad. Because basically the police would have gotten involved. The store probably would have, one, had to be shut down, but then two, I probably would have had some very serious legal charges, considering that's quite a bit amount of money that I had to pay them back. And I was gonna pay them back. Don't act like I did. I was gonna do it. I just had to wait for the refund from Shopify. So yeah. Here's the thing. I also am heavily in the stock market. And it just so happens that when all this was going down, a little thing called Dogecoin decided to spike its way up to like 70 freaking cents. Meaning that I made a few $1,000s on freaking Dogecoin. I was like, that's freaking awesome. So, I put 2 and 2 together, and we were all set and ready to go. Using my genius mathematical brain, I was just able to take a few $100 out of my Dogecoin that I had made like a freaking champ, put it into my bank account. We then had the money, and I was able to pay the company back, and no police were involved. That's how we do it. And then like the week after I got my credit card, I got my new debit card, we were all Gucci, I was feeling it, I was so hyped, and then I got the refunds back from Shopify, and at the same time, Dogecoin dropped, which means I could put my money back into Dogecoin when it was low, so I could buy it, buy low, sell high kind of thing, and life was Gucci. The only thing is now I had a super bad relationship with my wholesale supplier for these splat balls. Like, they were not happy with me. And then they were considering not working with me anymore after I talked to them on the floor, like on the phone. Not cool, because, if that happened, well, then I would either have to find another, supplier, which I'm sure I could do, but it would be a pain in the butt considering I already built a relationship with this one. Or we just have to shut down the business. Luckily, I've been talking to people for a very long time, ever since I was basically born. I came out of the womb talking, all right? And I work in martial arts and whatnot, so I talk to people all the time, and I just sweet talked my way in to them still working with me and not deleting my account with them, and it's fantastic. So at the end of the day, although they were upset, we are all Gucci. And they say it is all good as long as something like this doesn't happen again. And I'm like, I got you, all right? We are gonna make sure it doesn't happen. And life is good. But yeah, so that's basically it. I mean, it's a pretty good time. I mean, a very stressful part of my life considering I was just about to graduate high school. We gotta make sure that we don't fail. What is happening, my boy? We gotta make sure we don't fail. My credit cards were stolen. The people that I work with that basically hold up my business aren't happy. They might get the police involved. I'm over $1,000 in debt. Not a good time, but we made it work. We made it work. Dogecoin to the rescue. So there's a little short story time. Like I said, if you want to help support me, go in the link in my bio. Go grab yourself one of these bad boys. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, Cub Scouts. Woo!